Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Melody, and on this channel I like to discuss fragrances every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if that's something that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe. Today I am giving you my review on the Clean Reserve Discovery Set. So if that's something you're interested in, please keep watching. So this is my third video exploring a full house of fragrances. I've done one for Seven Virtues and another one for Juliet Has a Gun. I will link those videos down below in the description. I filmed the first impressions of each of these fragrances, and then I went about wearing each of them for a day and taking some notes in my journal. So I will start by sharing my first impressions and then come back here and go over the fragrances and what I thought about them. I'm filming my first impressions like this because I woke up with half my face very swollen and I didn't want to do makeup, and I have to go start packing to stay at the hospital with my daughter for the next several days, and so I didn't really have a whole lot of time to film. I've chosen to take this because I think these fragrances might be a bit lighter while I'm at the hospital. I don't want to be wearing anything that's too strong. My daughter is up on a floor where the kids stay for quite a long time, and there's really no like serious procedures there or anything, and so a light fragrance like what I'm assuming these are will not be offensive to anybody there. So I wanted to film my first impressions before I started testing these. So I don't know much about Clean Reserve. I have smelled several of these in store at Sephora, but I don't know how many of these I've ever tested on my skin. So I got the little discovery set and I'm looking forward to trying them. So I will start with Clean Reserve's Warm Cotton. The main accords are fresh, aldehydic, ozonic, green, aquatic, floral, musky, warm, spicy, aromatic, and fresh spicy. The top notes are aldehydes, ozonic notes, watery notes, ginger, green notes, floral notes, mint, pepper, musk, vetiver, and incense. So I'm not a fan of aldehydes, and green notes can go either way for me. But I think I've only tried mint in one fragrance, and I did not enjoy that. Sorry, I'm having a hard time. I've already packed, so we're moving soon, and so I've already packed all of my tester strips and all of my other samples, which would have been perfect for this time of moving and stuff, so I don't have to keep some full bottles out. But I didn't think about it, and I packed away that whole box. So, okay, so to my nose, there's something nice about the watery ginger and the floral notes, but it is very, very soapy. I mean, that's basically what aldehydes do. Yeah, I kind of like it. I'm a bit surprised, but I think it is definitely very unique. I'm getting some of that mint now. I'm gonna have to see how this dries. Next, we have Clean Reserve Rain. So it's a white floral, citrus, patchouli, woody, fresh, spicy, warm, spicy, earthy, aromatic, and animalic. Top notes of bergamot, middle notes of white flowers, and base notes of patchouli. I wonder what white flowers they used. This is. It's reminding me of something, but I can't quite place it. It is nice. I think it doesn't say what white flowers, but to my nose I'm getting gardenia. This is quite nice. I'll have to see how it dries down on my skin because there are a lot of white floral fragrances that kind of do weird things on my skin. So yeah, I'm actually really enjoying this one. Next we have Skin. So this one is sweet, musky, salty, leather, vanilla, animalic, lactonic, amber, powdery, and marine. The notes are praline, salt, musk, leather, and tonka bean. Okay, I get that sweet praline right away, which is interesting because a lot of fragrances, like the praline is often in the base and you don't get it till the end, but this one is immediately very sweet. It's also salty. You know, I'm not picking up any leather right away. I'm getting like a sweet and salty with like maybe a bit of musk. It's nice. It's not what I would expect with the name Skin. It doesn't seem like this is what I would get from a skin scent, but it is quite nice actually. I'll be interested to see how this smells on my actual skin. Next we have Aqua Neroli. This is a citrus, white floral, musky, and fresh spicy. Top notes of Sicilian orange, mandarin orange, and bergamot. Middle notes of neroli, orange blossom, and jasmine. Base notes of musk, ambrette, amber, and sandalwood. So I was a little uncertain about this. I sometimes don't love like a really citrus kind of scent, and I'm not a fan of neroli. But I do like orange blossom and I like jasmine and I like ambrette a lot. Yeah, this opening, there's something to it. I'm not sure if it's the bergamot. Sometimes I feel like maybe I don't care for bergamot, but there are fragrances where I like it. I feel like bergamot is such a common top note. Yeah, there's something to this. I think it's, you know what? It might be the neroli, and it could also be the jasmine. There are some jasmines that I am not the biggest fan of, but for the most part, I do really like jasmine. But there's something to this fragrance that um, is a little bitter, and I think that's coming from the neroli. Next, we have Sal Santal. It's woody, powdery, citrus, salty, aromatic, fresh, spicy, sweet, fruity, warm, spicy, and violet. The top notes are bergamot, tonic water, mandarin leaf, and nutmeg. Middle notes of salt, fig, hazelnut, whipped cream, violet, and iris. And base notes of sandalwood, musk, amber, styrax, and rose. I'm not sure what styrax is. It says it's a resin, a dry balsamic note with floral and woody nuances. Okay, that's interesting. It's got rose in the base, but I'm not too concerned about that. I actually am really looking forward to trying this one because I do like fig and hazelnut, and it's exciting to see like whipped cream. I also like violet and iris. So this one I'm actually really looking forward to trying. Okay, so it's opening up very fresh from the bergamot and tonic water, and quite green from the mandarin leaf. I'm getting some of that nutmeg as well. So I can smell like all those top notes. There's a lot of times where fragrance, like I never get the top notes. There are fragrances where I immediately just smell mid notes, but this one I can smell all of the top notes, which to me, a lot of people say, oh, something is well blended when you can't really distinguish a note. But then some people also like it when they can tell every single note. So, I mean, which is better, like a fragrance that's so well blended that it just is that thing, or having something where you can pick up on all of the different notes? I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, I thought I was gonna really like this, but so far, on the paper, it smells really masculine, which I'm surprised by, because of things like whipped cream, and violet and iris feel like notes that you typically are like powdery and often are like in makeup kind of scents and stuff. But I do often like them. Um, but something about this is smelling a lot like one of my husband's like shower products, and it smells really, really masculine. So we'll have to see about this one. Unfortunately, this is one that I'm a little bit discouraged by. Next, we have Solar Bloom. This is citrus, woody, aromatic, coconut, white floral, earthy, sweet, mineral, fresh, spicy, and lactonic. Top notes of bergamot and mandarin orange. Middle notes of coconut milk, orange blossom, jasmine, and freesia. Base notes of vetiver, kohl, and patchouli. I have never seen kohl as a note for a fragrance, so that'll be interesting if it smells like kohl. I mean, I guess I've never smelled kohl before. I don't know. Have I? Okay, I'm picking up that coconut right away. It's coconut milk. Okay, so this might actually work out better for me. There are a lot of coconuts that come off like really weird to my skin. Some of them pickly, some of them like almost animalic. But I don't know if coconut milk will do that. It has orange blossom. I do like orange blossom. I like jasmine. I'm not a fan of citruses, but there are so many fragrances with citrus in the opening that don't really bother me. My concern is the vetiver. A lot of times vetiver pulls like really, really earthy or animalic on my skin. In fact, that's the reason I don't like the original La Belle by Jean Paul Gaultier. The vetiver in there just came off like really dirty on my skin, and it made me smell like a dirty dog that needs to go in for like a wash. No, this smells nice. It smells refreshing, and very like summer. I think it's that coconut milk. It just makes me think of summer. But I will wait and see how those base notes smell, because I'm really interested to see if I smell the kohl. Next, we have Radiant Nectar. So this is one that I did specifically smell in stores, and I do think I actually put this on my skin, but I can't remember. Yeah, no, I think I did. And I do really like this one. So it's musky, fruity, powdery, sweet, amber, aquatic, floral, woody, and fresh. The top notes are pear and ambrette, middle notes of tobacco blossom, orris, and carrot seed, base notes of musk, ambroxan, and white cedar. So this fragrance does smell a lot like God is a Woman. Yeah, oh, it smells so good. And I believe there's another one. I feel like there's several fragrances that remind me of this one. So yeah, God is a Woman, Sweet by Perry Ellis. I smelled that one. They all have that pear and ambrette mix to them, I believe. I'm trying to think or see if there's any other notes. It appears that they might all have orris in them as well. So yeah, all three of these are very similar, but this one is really nice. I really like this one. I don't know if it's tobacco blossom or carrot seed I'm picking up. I think it's the tobacco blossom, because I don't know that I've smelled that in any other fragrances either. I don't know what a carrot seed would smell like, but tobacco blossom, I almost smell like something that might be like a faint tobacco-y smell. No, I really, really like this one. I'm looking forward to putting this on my skin and testing it out. And last we have Lush Fleur. It's rose, citrus, white, floral, musky, fruity, sweet, powdery, floral, mossy, and vanilla. The top notes are bergamot, raspberry, and mandarin orange. Middle notes of damask, rose, gardenia, and jasmine. Base notes of musk, moss, vanilla, and amber. So this one makes me nervous because it has rose in it, and beyond that it's damask rose, which I think, geez, these little things are hard to spray, which is one of those roses that I tend to have the most trouble with. Rose always comes off smells like really screechy on my skin. So I'm interested to see if this might be a rose that I like. I feel like I'm picking up more gardenia than rose in this one. No, but I'm smelling the rose, yeah, and it's like really scratchy. I don't know why it is that my nose picks up this like really screechy, scratchy kind of scent in roses. Like this, I feel that way about Delina. Like everybody loves Delina, and I just can't get with that fragrance at all because it like tickles the back of my throat and makes it feel like scratchy. It's not good. Yeah, this one, I'm not going to like this fragrance. I will try it out, but I know I'm just not going to enjoy this one at all. So this is the point in time where I go back and I smell them again after they've dried to see how I feel about them now. So this one, I'm back to Warm Cotton. Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, Warm Cotton, I think, is actually a really good description of this fragrance. It smells like fresh, clean laundry. But see, that's something like, I get a little bit of the mint now. But that's so weird. And it really does smell like laundry, but it has things like vetiver and incense and musk and pepper and mint, which is not something you would probably think of as like smelling like clean laundry, but that's kind of what I'm feeling with this one. Next, I'm smelling Rain, the Reserve blend. I don't know what that means, the Reserved blend, but this is really nice. This is kind of what I hope for in kind of one of those more watery kind of fragrances. It doesn't have like a water note or anything, but like sometimes that's what I'm craving, is something that smells almost like rain. And I've looked and so many of them come off like really salty or aquatic, and that's not what I'm looking for. This is like a fresh, dewy rain smell, but it doesn't have any notes. Like I've seen ones with dewdrop and all sorts of notes that are supposed to like evoke the smell of rain, and they never do, but this one does. This is really nice. Here I have Skin. I mean, I see where they're going. I think, yeah, that musk is really strong here. Yeah, it's a really heavy musk. So I get where they're coming from with the Skin. It's nice. I really do like it. I'm pleasantly surprised with quite a few of these fragrances, but the question is, would I want to smell like this? I don't know. It's, in my previous Juliet Has a Gun video, their Musk Invisible reminded me of like a newborn baby smell. And this is giving me that same vibe, but like stronger. It's stronger on the paper. Like the Juliet Has a Gun one was like, I mean, almost invisible, literally. You couldn't smell it. So I'm wondering if this one will perform better, but I like the smell. And it's something I had mentioned in that video, that I like the smell, but is it worth the money to have like a scent memory of like a newborn baby? I don't know. Here we have Aqua Neroli. Yeah, I don't like this one. It's like really green and bitter. It's coming from that neroli. I'm getting a little bit of the ambrette and the amber in the background. A lot of ambrette, actually. But I can't get past that like bitter neroli. Next we have Cell Santal. Okay. You know what's funny about this one? This is almost smelling minty down in my nose, and I don't understand how. It's still too masculine for my liking. I think I'm picking up a lot more of that nutmeg now. But it's got that salty, like almost aquatic men's shower gel kind of thing. Yeah, I don't like it. Next is Solar Bloom. I'm picking up that coconut, but it smells almost, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. This one might do something weird on my skin, so I'm a little nervous about this one, but I will try it out. Next, Radiant Nectar. Oh yes, I love this Radiant Nectar. This might, I'll have to try it on my skin again, but this is definitely, to my nose right now, full bottle worthy. And I'll try this Lush Fleur again. Yeah, no, there's a screechy rose, and I don't care for that at all. So I am going to try 4 of these on my skin and give them a little test and see how I like them. I'm just trying to figure out which ones I'm really interested in trying. I think I'm going to try Solar Bloom because that one I'm curious about. I think I might want to try Rain. I will try Skin. I'm interested in that one. And let's see, I didn't care for those. So I think I will try Radiant Nectar again. And I will get back to you with my thoughts. So Rain is smelling very green. But it doesn't quite smell like bergamot on my skin. I'm getting a lot of those white florals. Let's see. Next, Radiant Nectar. Radiant Nectar, I'm getting a lot more tobacco blossom in the opening. I'm getting a little bit of the pear and ambrette, but the tobacco blossom that was on the card is smelling a lot stronger on my skin. It's still quite nice though. I like tobacco scents, but a lot of times those pick up kind of synthetic, or maybe it's a little harsh to my nose. So this tobacco blossom is giving me that like kind of tobacco vibe that I like, but it's lighter and sweeter. This is still quite nice. Next, I have Solar Bloom. That one is really interesting on my skin, but I'm picking up almost that like sour coconut, so I'm not sure how much I'll like that one. So since I've been doing these exploring videos, I've come to realize that first impressions are really not a great indicator of what a fragrance really smells like. In many cases, I would really love a fragrance on first impression and then really dislike it as I wore it, or the opposite. There are fragrances that I wrote off right away that I came to absolutely love as I was wearing them. And so in some cases, I was pretty close and knew whether I liked it or not. But I think that this is a really good example that just wearing a fragrance or just trying a fragrance in stores is not necessarily the best way to determine if you like a fragrance. I would recommend trying and spraying it on yourself, I would say even multiple times, to get a good indication of whether you like a fragrance. So now I'll share my thoughts. I'm going to be looking down at my notes quite a bit. This first one, Warm Cotton, I wrote that when I first sprayed it, it smelled like Febreze. It smelled exactly like Febreze. It did dry down on my skin to kind of this warm, fluffy, spicy kind of scent, but on my skin it smelled like Febreze. And I don't mind the smell of Febreze at all. In fact, I associate that with my grandma quite a bit. She used Febreze in her car and sometimes on her clothes and the house and stuff. So I like the scent, but I wouldn't spend money on a fragrance to smell like Febreze. If I wanted that scent, I would just buy Febreze and spray it on my clothes. But it was nice. I would say it's a like, and it really wasn't a love. The next is Rain. So when I first smelled this, it was very refreshing, but then it almost came off as a little spicy. I'm guessing that may have been from the bergamot somehow. It gave like a little bit of a kick. As it started to dry down, it became more floral, and I'm not sure why, but it started to make me really nauseous, but it did have a really nice watery, dewy, kind of wet floral vibe to it. But there was something in it that was just really nauseating to me. Fortunately, it's not the best performer, and within a few hours it was a skin scent, and so as long as I didn't put my hand to my skin, I really couldn't tell that it was there. It never really projected very far, about an arm's length maybe, for like an hour, and then after that it was pretty close, and then within about 2 hours, it was only a skin scent. So if you are really into a dewy kind of floral fragrance, I would recommend this. However, it did make me nauseous, and I don't know what that was from. Next, we have skin. This one opened up really sweet and salty, and if I didn't know any better, I would have suspected that there was something kind of tropical fruity in this. I believe the notes are like salt and praline, and I think it has a few other notes. But on my skin, it kind of gives off this very fruity, almost tropical fruit kind of vibe. I actually really, really liked this one. As you can see, I wore it a few times. It's almost empty. But to me, the name is misleading. It in no way really reminded me of somebody's skin. It was a little bit too sweet for that. I get the kind of sweet, salty, but it didn't really have that muskiness that you typically smell in something that smells more similar to a skin scent. However, I think I appreciated that after reviewing all of Juliet Hasegun's fragrances, and many of them were just kind of skin scents, and they just didn't appeal to me. So this one I actually really did like. Its projection was about an arm's length away for a little while, maybe about 2-3 hours, so it wasn't the best performer, but it is definitely a unique fragrance, nothing like I have in my collection, so it is definitely something that's on my list to purchase. Next I have Acqua Neroli. In the opening, it has this zesty, kind of uplifting scent bubble around you, but whenever like my arms would get too close and I could like smell it up close, it was this really off-putting bitter neroli smell that like was really unpleasant. There's also a very soapy kind of nuance to this. I think it's from the jasmine that like I also really didn't like, so this is definitely not a fragrance I cared for very much. However, it only lasted about 2 or 3 hours and then it became a skin scent. It projected pretty well for that first hour. It wafted around me quite a bit. However, unfortunately, I am not always the biggest fan of neroli, and while I do like jasmine, this one came off very soapy to me, so this is not one that I would recommend. Next we have Sal Santal. I think this would be really nice on a man, but in fact, I would really like it on my husband, but I would never wear this again. It is far too masculine for my liking. Its performance was really nice. I got about 3 to 4 hours of good projection and then several more hours of a nice skin scent. But to me, this is just too masculine for a fragrance that I would like. However, if people are into more masculine kind of fragrances or woody fragrances, I think this would be a nice one. Next, I have Solar Bloom. So it kind of smelled very generic, sort of coconut scent. There was nothing really unique about this fragrance, and it was really linear. It didn't stand out to me in any way, and it really only performed for about an hour, and then I really couldn't smell it very much. So this is not one that I would recommend. I think there are much nicer and better coconut fragrances out there. Next we have Radiant Nectar. This one smells a lot like God is a Woman, which is a fragrance I really like, but for me, I just would never buy that fragrance because I just don't care for the name, and I also don't care for the bottle or anything behind it, but I really love that fragrance type, the pear. It's kind of like this pear pastry. It's just a beautiful scent. This is one that I actually really enjoyed. I would say the main difference between this one and God is the Woman is this one kind of has a smoky vibe. It kind of smells like a syrupy pear with like an underlying smoky quality to it. I think that smokiness is coming from the tobacco blossom in it. I don't think it's too heavy. I think it just has that nice little bit of smokiness from that tobacco blossom. I kind of imagine some kind of caramelized pear dessert with just like a little bit of a smoky quality from baking it, if you kind of like burnt the caramel on the edges or something. So it was really lovely, and I also think that that smokiness actually helps it from smelling too gourmand, so it doesn't smell like exactly like a treat, but there's something a little different about it, which I kind of enjoyed. This fragrance lasted about 4 hours on me, so I think it performed well. I know a lot of people are looking for something that they don't have to top off or last all day, but I'm finding that I'm enjoying fragrances in that like 4 to 6 hour ballpark, so that I can actually try something on later in the day. I have such a large collection now that I really enjoy switching up my fragrance, and so having something that lasts so long, I kind of get sick of it. And so having fragrances that are in that ballpark, like the maybe 3 to 6 hour mark, is something that I'm finding that I really do enjoy. However, I really don't love anything that lasts less than 3 hours. I think it's kind of a waste of money. I've found plenty of body mist that last just as long and cost a fraction of the price. Lastly, we have Lush Fleur. It opens up like with this dusty flower kind of scent. It smells a bit soapy. It actually doesn't project as much as I had expected it to when I did my first impressions. In fact, it's almost a skin scent from the very beginning. I'm really pleasantly surprised at how much I really enjoyed this fragrance. In fact, when I had my first impressions, I really thought I wouldn't like it. There's a rose in it that typically makes my throat like scratch and like I don't want to smell it, but once it dried down, I couldn't get any of that like scratchy, like screechy rose scent. Now, it still kind of had that in the opening, and so I probably wouldn't buy this for myself. It's a really lovely fragrance, and I think if I smelled it on someone else, I would think it was really beautiful, but it's definitely not a fragrance for me, but I do think it's quite lovely. So I like to put the fragrances in order of my least favorite to favorite, and so in 8th place I put Rain, mostly because that fragrance just made me nauseous and I don't know what caused that. Next I put Aqua Neroli. It had a really bitter neroli scent, and then the jasmine just came off like way too soapy for my liking. I really actually did like Cell Santal, but I think that's a great fragrance on a man, and it's not a fragrance that I would like on myself. In 5th place, I put Warm Cotton. I think it was nice, but it just smelled like Febreze, and so if you want to smell like Febreze, or you want your clothes to smell like Febreze, just buy the like $6 bottle of Febreze. I would not recommend spending that much on the fragrances. I would mention here that the prices on the fragrances I find interesting. So on Sephora, you get the large bottle for, I believe it's like $98, but they don't offer the smaller bottle. However, Kohl's Sephora's, online at least, appear to have the smaller bottles, and those are $68. So I'm not sure why Sephora doesn't offer the small bottles, but Kohl's does. So I would love to know if anybody knows the reason for that. Or if maybe Kohl's website is wrong. I'm not sure. I haven't purchased any of these yet. I'm kind of on a no buy until September, because my collection has just kind of gotten out of hand, and get to know the fragrances I already have. So in 4th place I put Solar Bloom, which seems pretty high for that fragrance, because I did say it was a really generic coconut fragrance, but I still think that it would be a better buy for me than a fragrance that smelled like Febreze, or one that I just wouldn't wear. This one I might wear, but it just smells like a generic coconut that you could get from just about a dozen other fragrances, and so it's just not one that I would be buying, but it's nice. In 3rd place, I put Lush Fleur. I actually was really pleasantly surprised at that fragrance. However, it's just not something that I would be buying, but I do think it's a beautiful fragrance. I would think it would be beautiful on many other people. In 2nd place, I put Skin. That is one that is going on my list because it is quite unique, and it is sweet. I really like that, but it is a very unique kind of fragrance that I was really impressed with. And in 1st place, I put Radiant Nectar. It is a fragrance type that I am very much interested in, and I was looking for an alternative to God is a Woman, and I actually think this one is better with that kind of smoky tobacco note in it. So I'm really looking forward to buying those last two when my no buy ends in September. I've really enjoyed doing these exploring fragrance videos, and I'm looking forward to next month when I explore the House of Oud. So I hope you continue watching my videos, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have any thoughts on any of these fragrances, I would love to hear it down below in the comments. I hope you subscribe and you keep coming back, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.